Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming tonight. My name is Kelly Young. I'm the lead counselor here at Marcus. We are just setting up our technology and stuff. I will be talking and then also using Nina Johnson, one of our other counselors' screen, and we're going to just kind of go back and forth. So you may hear both of us on here tonight. Thank y'all so much for joining us. It's such an exciting time to be talking about course registration and our goals for life after Marcus and just as we go through high school. And so we're really excited to get to share all the opportunities that we have here at Marcus as well as within LISD. And so we have a good lineup for you tonight to hear from lots of different people. Before we really get started, I wanted to just go over a few meeting logistics and just kind of how we'll go through the presentation, get your questions answered, and just kind of what the format will be. Everyone should be on mute when you enter the meeting space, and we ask that you stay on mute the whole time that you're on here. There's going to be a few hundred people on here, so a large crowd joins us, and so to kind of navigate that, we just ask that you stay muted. We found that it sometimes helps with the connection if our cameras are off, especially since we have several different hosts kind of jumping in and speaking on their slides. So we may have our cameras off from time to time. That could help you too if you notice that it's kind of breaking up on your end. We know we're going to have lots of questions as you hear from all the different speakers. So what we ask is that instead of using the chat function and putting information there, we ask that you actually use the QR code that you're going to find on each page, each of the presentation slides, or you could use the bit.ly that's there. We also put the link in the chat. So we're going to ask that you actually ask your questions by filling out that Google form. And then we'll go through all of the questions, as many as we can get to at the very end of the presentation once everyone's had a chance to speak. So again, please put your questions into the Google form that you can access using the QR code on the slides or the link in the chat. We will be recording this presentation, and we do plan to get all of the questions and kind of house them in one spot. So if we don't get to your question at the end, we will put it in a list of Q&A that we are going to have on our website, and I'll also email that out later this week. To kick things off, I'm going to have our principal, Dr. Cody Kuntz, speak for a second, and then we'll get going with the presentation.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Young, and welcome everybody. We're glad that you could join us tonight for our presentation. And as Ms. Young said, this is a really exciting time of year. It might seem surreal a little bit for some of you. I know we have folks ranging from students who are just beginning high school next year to those who are rising seniors or getting ready to kind of close the loop on their high school journey. I know also we have parents who maybe have their first high schooler starting this next year with us. And then we have you grizzled vets that have been through multiple children who are about to finish out and maybe moving on to the empty nest time of life. So there's a wide range of folks represented in our audience tonight. I know we're inching towards 400 people. I think that's amazing. We have a lot to offer here at Marcus High School and M9, and we want to make sure that people are as well informed as possible during this process. It can feel overwhelming at times. It can feel like a lot of information. Sometimes we get to talking really quickly because we do this day in and day out. And sometimes we might accidentally take for granted that you may not know what we're referring to. So one of the best things that I can tell you as we kick off this season of course registration is that we're here to help you guys. All of the campuses represented tonight as we think about everything that we have to offer here at MHS and LISD. We have folks that are here to assist you in the process. We don't want you to go into this being overwhelmed or feel as though it's too daunting to make informed decisions. And so that's why we do what we're doing. That's why we have such a great lineup tonight, to make sure that you feel informed as we kick it off, but just know this is the beginning, not the end of the conversation. And as we get into this process, we're here to help you guys in any way that we can. So just know I'm a little bit biased when I say this, but I think that we have absolutely the best high school in the United States, and we're glad that you are part of this family. Can't wait to meet all of you guys if I haven't already, and just know that you're in great hands tonight as we kick off our presentation. So Ms. Young, thank you. I'll kick it back to you and let you take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Kuntz. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started by talking about college, career, and military readiness. One of our MHS counselors, Dr. Justin Fields, is going to start us off.
Hi, good evening. I'm Justin Fields, and I am really proud to be a part of this school, and I'm happy to tell you about a really important part. It's going to be something that we're going to be talking about for your children throughout high school. This is, if you have not heard about CCMR, which stands for College Career and Military Readiness, this is something that's going to become an overarching theme or something that we're going to be tracking for students as they move through high school. As I said, it is new, and so there are some pieces that you might not have heard about something like this for your child previously, but these metrics did exist. It's just more something that our school is being evaluated on now. So there is, I think while we start emphasizing college, and we'll hear about that a lot tonight, it's important for the counseling department for you to know that really the most important thing that we want for your child is to have a plan. So even though we are talking about college a lot, I don't want families and students to think that we are prejudiced in pushing that for every student. We know that there are different routes to take to different careers and plans. The most important thing, though, is that we want your child to be prepared with a plan for how they're going to pursue those goals after high school. So if you are interested in 2- and 4-year colleges or technical schools, that's great. For students that are interested in going to work immediately after high school, we want them to have a plan to know that they can actually earn much better money and have a much better paycheck and benefits as a high school graduate than they can right now. And we want them to maximize that for themselves. Students that are interested in going to the military, we want them to be prepared and informed about that, but also knowing that they might come back around for more training or education as they move forward. So we will always be pushing a plan. And when we talk about college, we really are talking about all the options for after high school. Several years ago, many years ago, you may have started hearing about endorsements and as a part of graduation requirements. Those still exist. The 26 credit requirement still exists as a graduation requirement. And of course, passing the 5-star tests is a part of graduation requirements. CCMR, we want all of our students to think of that as a graduation goal. So even though it is not technically required by the state of Texas to graduate, it is something that we have an aim for all of our students to meet by the time they graduate. Ironically, the endorsements and STAR tests are not really predictive of success after high school, and endorsements are not necessarily something that a college is really interested in evaluating students. But CCMR, the thing that is not required, is actually much more important and I think much more useful to you and a student. Right now, you can see some statistics about where our students are by grade. Students that, according to the state of Texas, have met a CCMR standard and indicator, and we'll show you those in a moment. You'll obviously see that as students are going through high school, the greater percentage of students as they're going through Marcus are meeting one indicator. And actually that will get higher by the end of the year as students are completing certain courses, or maybe they're taking AP exams or they're taking college readiness tests. So those numbers continue to increase even after the school year is over. What we're going to do, Ms. Young or Ms. Johnson, if we could go to the next slide, please. So what we're aiming for with CCMR, and we are tracking this for every student, is we want your child to meet one CCMR indicator by the time that they graduate. And some of those things will have relevance tonight, and even as students are picking classes for next year, this could come up and affect your child very soon. So I'm going to go through the list of ways that a student can meet a CCMR indicator. Again, your child just needs to meet, our goal is for them to meet one indicator. There's not extra bonus points or anything like that for meeting all of them. That would be great, but really we're looking for students to meet one. So one of the ways that a student can do that is to score a 3 or higher on any AP exam in grades 9 through 12. So there might be some students on here that are going to take the AP Human Geography exam as a 9th grader, or they've already taken it and met that goal, and they are good to go in terms of CCMR. Really, the important thing that we would like to emphasize, though, is for any student that is taking an AP class, we always encourage them to take the AP exam. Quite frankly, aside from the exam fee, you have nothing to lose by taking an exam. If you end up not getting a score that makes you eligible for credit, typically if you end up taking that course again in college, you're going to be extremely well prepared for that course, and it will almost be one of the easier college courses that you take. But we always emphasize that. Dual credit is going to be an option that some of your students may be looking forward to as they move into junior and senior year. So one of the ways that students can also meet a CCMR goal is to take dual credit courses. And you can see that a student who has 3 credit hours of dual credit English or math, so that would be 3 credits on the NCTC side, college credit hours, that's one way to do it. Or if they have 9 hours of dual credit across any subject. So you'll learn that we offer dual credit courses in science and social studies and English and math. And if a student is meeting those through a collection of those, you're going to be meeting that goal. There are also ways for students to meet these through the courses that they take, and these are going to be predominantly focused on the career and technology education programs that we offer both here on the Marcus High School campus and then also at our tech centers. We have Tech East and Tech West. In short, the thing that if your student is going to be going to a tech center program, and most of our programs have at least 2 or 3 levels, so they go through 2 or 3 semesters of courses. If your child is going through that and also earning an industry-based certification, they are going to meet a CCMR indicator. So a really popular program at one of our tech centers is the health science program. So if your child is going to go through principles of health science and medical terminology, and then the health science clinical and theory, and then go on to one of the practicum programs and they're passing their certification exams, they're good to go. We do have ways for students to also do that here on the main campus. Most of the time, those programs are going to be focused primarily in business. So if students are going from principles of business all the way up through, for example, accounting 2, and they're taking a certification exam, they're going to be finding ways to earn that CCMR indicator that way. When we are students are also, if they are enlisting in the U.S. Armed Forces or the Texas National Guard, that is a way for them to also earn a CCMR indicator as well. And some of our students are planning on that, and we are proud to help facilitate that transition with them as well. Students that are served by special education, if they are completing an endorsement, they will also earn an endorsement that way as well. Ms. Johnson, let's go to the final slide. Then this is the last way that students can meet an indicator is through some additional college entrance testing. And this one, I want to make sure we're clear. Students need to meet, you'll see 2 columns here, a reading indicator and a math indicator. If a student has not met one of the indicators previously mentioned on the second slide that we just finished, a student would need to complete 1 indicator in the reading column and 1 indicator in the math column to be meeting a CCMR indicator. And you'll see that these are covering tests like the TSI, the ACT, and the SAT. The PSAT, while it is a useful test and something that can help encourage and motivate our students along, PSAT scores are not considered a part of CCMR, and so there's not a way to complete that here. This is important for our students because if your student is planning on enrolling in college of any kind after graduation, whether that's a 2-year school or a 4-year school, they are going to be asked to meet one of these indicators in order to be taking college level courses at their college destination. So if you have a student, for example, that's enrolling at UNT in the fall of 2025, they should be meeting these indicator scores on the English and the math or the TSI in order to be eligible to take college level courses, to be able to earn college credit towards a college degree. So that's something that we would want our students to be as they're graduating from high school, is prepared for the next step. And so we can track their progress through these indicators. These are the same metrics that a college would use to also determine if a student can take college level courses there. If you are planning on taking a dual credit class as a junior or senior, you're also going to be required to meet one of these indicators in order to be eligible to take a dual credit class. Previously, PSAT scores were something that you could use to help progress through a dual credit program. But this year, that change has come down from the state of Texas that students are going to have to meet a qualifying score on the SAT, ACT, or TSI. Now, we know a lot of our 10th grade students are not taking the SAT or ACT yet, so they're going to be given a chance to take the TSI, and Ms. Johnson will go over that. But you can see here the bar for which they are going to be held in order to participate in these programs. So as we move through and your students are beginning to take these tests in the junior year and senior years, they prepare for college applications. This is going to be a way to look at how high should their scores be in order to be prepared for what's next. So it's a lot of information. It'll be helpful to look over again when we post these slides tomorrow, but want to make sure you know of a theme that we're going to be considering as we evaluate our students moving forward. Okay, Ms. Young.
Thank you, Dr. Fields, and thank you for the reminder of using course registration as a time to look at what is still needed to graduate and then how to align classes with your graduation and career goals. I appreciate that. Okay, Jason Poe is our VLA or Virtual Learning Academy representative with us tonight. So Jason, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Jason Poe. I'm with the Virtual Learning Academy as a learning specialist. I've actually been part of the Marcus family for almost 20 years now at this point, since 2006. So I'm a huge fan of everything that Marcus has. In fact, both of my sons are going through the first one has already completed his course, and my second one is a junior at Marcus. So the Virtual Learning Academy is an LISD program. We are a program of choice. We've been around since 2007, so we are not the COVID response. We provide online learning, both core and elective courses. Depending on how you slice the pie, we have about 60 courses between the A side and the B side of a course, which breaks down to the first 9 weeks or the second 9 weeks of a course, as well as we have around 9 AP courses. So why would anyone want to take these courses? Well, some people like to accelerate their schedules and get some credits taken care of at different times. The VLA also makes schedules work. So occasionally there'll be a scheduling hiccup between a class that you really want and versus one of the ones that are required. And the VLA sometimes comes along and can solve that problem. Other times that you may choose to do the VLA is if you want to do a 4-year sport or in your fine arts. My oldest son went all the way through band, and he had to take a couple of VLA courses in order to make that activity work. Also the tech centers, and which you'll learn more about here later, require a double blocking of the schedules, and the VLA is usually asked to help make those schedules work in order to build out the availability in the schedules later on as the students are getting deeper into their particular course of study. We have classes year-round, basically, fall, spring, and summer. Our summer term typically runs basically the whole month of June and a large chunk of the month of July. And we can also do a 5th period. As some of y'all are learning, there are 4 class periods in the day, and sometimes you just want to have one more class. And we can help facilitate a 5th period. Now, are there fees with this? If you do our VLA courses, typically during the first period through 4th period, there typically is not a fee associated with it. A 5th period would have a fee, and then also our summer terms have fees as well. And you can check out our website, which is linked here below, for the entire list of all the courses. How do you actually sign up for courses? Well, you just consult your campus counselor. And after you and your campus counselor have talked it through, then through the normal registration process, through Skyward, you'll be able to select your VLA courses. And we typically line up in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th period time slots. Oftentimes people ask us when is our summer registration? Our summer registration typically occurs after spring break. So look for your students' emails, look in your students' emails for the information if you're interested in our summer terms, as well as in Skyward. And that's everything that I have for you. So I'm going to pass it off to whoever's next.
Thank you, Mr. Poe. Yes, I want to echo what he said. We do use VLA quite a bit to provide that flexibility in a student's schedule, especially if they're going to try to do, different programs and things like that. So definitely talk to us if that's something that you might need help with or just more questions about. Debbie Brennenstoll is our junior level AP Humanities teacher, and she is here to talk about all the benefits of taking honors and AP courses.
Hi, my name is Debbie Brennenstoll. I am, as Mrs. Young just told you, I'm an AP teacher. I've been at Marcus for 22 years. I've been teaching the junior AP Humanities class for about 20 of those years. And so I'd like to talk to you about what Marcus has to offer in terms of AP classes. So the first thing that I would like to say to everybody is that I consider myself to be very fortunate, and I consider you as parents to be very fortunate to be raising your children in a district that offers so many options. And we really do have a program, and we have options that will meet the needs of every child who comes into our district. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what our honors and our AP courses offer, and how they benefit a certain student demographic. So I'm going to operate on the assumption that things that are of interest to parents and students who take AP and honors courses is, first of all, the college credit. I know that's extremely important. And then also the grade multiplier is also really important. Another thing that our honors and AP courses offer is we offer a learning environment that is organic, it is discussion based, it is filled with teachers who are very passionate about what they teach, and students who are generally very interested in the subject matter. And so this allows us an opportunity to go deeper into the curriculum as opposed to students who are in a regular course. It would be easy to think that going deeper into a curriculum equals more homework, but that really is not the case. Our students are generally so interested in the subject, and they're not interested in what they would define as busy work. So frequently at Marcus High School in our honors and AP courses, we generally have less homework than you might find in an on-level class. Now, obviously, we have the grade multipliers, but we also have the opportunity, if a student enrolls in an AP or honors class and feels like after 3 weeks or after 9 weeks that it's just more than they can handle, absolutely, they have the option to then level down out of that particular course and go into something that's perhaps a little less rigorous. Additionally, it's a great opportunity to earn college credit. The AP exams cost about $100 for the students to take them. And we know that by Texas state law, if your student earns a 3, a 4, or a 5 on AP exams, by Texas state law, all the public universities in the state of Texas are required to award that credit. Not only are they required to award that credit, but it must be awarded for that subject. In other words, they cannot look at an AP Lang and Comp score of a 3 and say, well, we'll give you elective credit, but you're still going to have to take freshman comp. That is absolutely not allowed. They must award it for the subject matter. Additionally, AP, because of the national tests that are given at the end of the course, I like to say that these classes have long legs. In other words, if you have a student who is applying to out-of-state colleges, for example, I had a conversation with a student yesterday who told me that he really wants to go to MIT, and he very likely may end up at MIT. But in any event, he knows that when his application hits MIT, when they look and see the courses he took at Marcus High School and they see his AP scores, that has meaning, because every college in the United States knows exactly what a 3, a 4, or a 5 on an AP exam means, because our kids are held to national standards that are very recognizable in the college and university community. So I could understand the apprehension, well, I pay $100 and my student doesn't pass the exam. And that, of course, is always a possibility. But I wanted to reassure you that our AP scores at Marcus High School are outstanding. I would put our scores up against scores in any high school throughout the United States. We have dedicated teachers at Marcus. We have teachers who have been doing this for quite a while. We have a community within our school. And as a matter of fact, we have a number of our teachers who are actually readers of the AP exams across a wide variety of the courses that are tested. So I would encourage you to take a look at that. If you have any questions, I know Marcus High School can absolutely answer your questions. Mrs. Young, I think I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for all of that information. All right, Nina Johnson is our Marcus counselor who oversees dual credit. We actually have LISD has a partnership with North Central Texas College, or NCTC, and Ms. Johnson actually helps with the communication between NCTC and all of our students. So she is here to share about the benefits of taking dual credit.
Hi there. So to talk a little bit about dual credit, let's start with what it is. So this is where you can take one course and you're receiving 2 credits at the same time. You're receiving credit on the high school side, and you're also receiving hours on the college side. So you're getting double the credits for just one class. Many of our classes that students take are on our campus, which is a really good benefit. They're not having to go anywhere else. They're here on our campus in one of our classrooms, and they just move through the periods just like they normally would with their schedule. However, we also offer some online if they're not offered on our campus, or sometimes they can be taken at the NCTC campus if it works in their schedule. These courses can be taken during the school year, fall or spring, or even in the summer if you're looking at a summer option. The other benefit to this is it does cost money because it's a college course, but you are saving a lot of money by taking a dual credit course. So for example, if a student took US history dual credit during their junior year, that would be in one semester because it's here on our campus. They will be receiving 6 hours of college credit, and then they will be receiving the full credit for US history. So the total price for that course is $330, which if you were to take that exact US history class at a college campus, you're looking closer to about $3,000. So it is a very good value for the money while you're getting the credits at the same time. One thing that we like to remind people though is the grades are posting to both transcripts. So this is starting their college transcript. So it's not something that students really want to take lightly. They need to be driven. They need to meet deadlines. They need to be acting like a college student because it's not just going to be this hidden class that they're taking. It will be on their college transcript as well as their LASD transcript. So we want to make sure that they're starting off their college classes in a good way. Dual credit courses count at the highest multiplier, just like AP. So it has the high multiplier at the 1.2. The other benefit is this allows students to start their college courses now while they have the support of their parents, they have the support of the counselors, they have the support of me as the dual credit counselor. And so it allows them to help figure out how to talk to their professors, what they need to do when they're having a problem, and they're getting that experience now before they're off on their own at college. So it gives them a really good support system. If you decide to sign up for courses for dual credit, you would be putting those in your course request. So when Skyward opens next week on Monday, when you select your courses, you would be selecting the dual credit course that you are interested in taking. That's all you would do at this point. After that, I will be reaching out to everybody that signed up for a dual credit course, and I will be walking you through the application process, making sure you're meeting all the requirements that are needed. For example, Dr. Fields mentioned earlier about the TSI. The TSI is a test the student does have to take and pass in order to take a dual credit course, unless they're exempt through the SAT or ACT. I will also be getting you set up for that and explaining when that will be on our campus, and I will walk you through all those steps. So do not fear if you decide to do dual credit. I will help you with all of those things. One thing I do want to mention is the majority of our classes for dual credit start junior year. They go into junior year and senior year. There is only one class that's offered during sophomore year, and that is a world history dual credit. That looks different than our classes though, because it is only an online class and it goes over the entire school year. So it's not just in one semester. This sophomore world history dual credit class is considered a sophomore level on the college side. So if you're looking at an entry level class, it would be called 1301. This one is a 2321. So if a sophomore student is going to take the world history dual credit class, they need to know that they're jumping in a little bit past an entry-level college course. That's the first one that a student can take if they choose to, but I would help with how that would look in your schedule. But majority of the courses are going to start into junior year and then into senior year for our dual credit courses. As always, you can always reach out to me if you have questions. If you visit our website, there's a dual credit section, and I have an information video on there that goes into a lot more detail. And it gives some really good information on what this could look like for your student. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. All right, next we're going to move on to AVID, and Kim Klingen is one of our Marcus 9 counselors, and she's going to talk about the AVID program.
Hi, yes, we have AVID at Marcus 9 and at Marcus High School, and AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. AVID is a program that it's for college preparation, and it's an elective for students in grades 9 through 12. We do have AVID that's available in middle school also, and it continues up through high school. This is a really neat program that teaches study skills and organization for our students. The teachers work together to get our students ready for, to start getting kids ready for college and to be ready to take some advanced coursework throughout the course. It provides a sense of community and an AVID family. The classes are fairly large, and the students are together for the entire year. So they have activities inside the school day and outside the school day. They have times that they have tutors that come in and work with our students so that they can get some extra help and study skills. The program is ideal for students who are academically in the middle, so they're not necessarily the highest performers or the lowest performers in class. A lot of times these students are first-generation college students or a student who's never taken an honors or an AP student. Kind of my litmus test for if AVID would be a good program is if I'm talking to a teacher and the teacher says, yes, this student is doing an on-level class, but the potential is there to really be able to challenge himself or herself to be able to take some more rigorous coursework, but the student may not have done that before. So the AVID elective puts the student in an environment where they're challenging them to be able to be ready for college level coursework. To be able to participate in the AVID elective, the student needs to complete an application and participate in an interview. And after that happens, then the student is given an invitation to join the program. Truthfully, it's really neat to watch the students fill out the application. I've helped some students to read over their applications, and I've seen them come and be dressed up for the first time and to talk about interview skills. Just that interview in itself is an opportunity that many of our kids haven't had before, so they get to experience this. It's really neat. Every year, the AVID elective is partnered with an advanced core class. So the AVID elective goes the whole year, and then the core course that it's with goes the whole year. So like in 9th grade, the students are taking the AVID elective paired with Honors English 1. So it's AVID English, AVID English, AVID English. And each year, the advanced course is a little bit different and is with a different core class. So if your student is interested in participating in AVID, I have a QR code that's down here on the bottom that has how to apply because the students complete their application in Skyward. I do know that AVID has been avidly advertising. And so your students probably already know about the application process, but they have to complete that in Skyward. And if they miss those deadlines, that's another skill that the students need to have is they need to learn to meet those deadlines. So that 2/6 is a hard deadline. The teacher at Marcus 9 is Coach Klein, and Miss Frenzel is the teacher on the main campus. And we will have AVID representatives at the freshman night if your student is a rising 9th grader and wants to speak with somebody about the AVID program. If not, then you can always email the counselors and we can get you in touch with the AVID teachers. All right, thanks, Ms. Young.
Thank you so much. All right, here to talk about our career centers is Maddie Mackey. She is the counselor at Career Center West, and she's going to tell you about all the opportunities that are available at the Career Center East and West.
Hi, everyone. I am Maddie Mackey. I'm the counselor at Tech West, and Karen Jinsky is the counselor at Tech East. So both of our campuses serve all of LISD. We have great course options, and they tie in with college majors, or you can go to work right out of our courses and our programs. We do have buses available. I know that's a big question, that pick kids up in the morning and bring them to our campus. We are double blocked, so they're with us for 2 periods a day. They will eat, if they come to us in the morning, they will leave and be able to eat lunch and then go to 3rd and 4th. If they are coming to us for 3rd and 4th, they will have a lunch, then get on a bus and come back to us. Some of our courses offer a credit like a 4th science, a 3rd math, or even their fine arts course. We highly recommend that students that are interested in the Career Center go ahead and start looking at these 8th and 9th grade so they can plan out and make sure they're able to finish the programs. Not all kids will finish the program. Some of them will dive in and decide that's not really what's for them, and that's fine. We want them to be able to have some experiences and know going forward that that's not what they want to look for in the future. We do have practicums available, and we also award stoles if they finish their pathway and they pass their IBC of their program, and they'll wear those with their cap and gown during graduation. Next. Next slide. Some of Tech East classes are right here. We have pharmacy technician. Tech East does cosmetology for certain campuses, and we do cosmetology for other campuses. Both campuses do have health science, but we offer different practicums. So Tech East is looking at the pharmacy side and the dental side, whereas Tech West is looking at medical assisting and medical rotation side. Next. Some highlighted courses for Tech East are the dental assistant and diesel mechanic, and they are having welding coming to them next year. So that's another course that we've had a high wait list in, and so we are adding that to Tech East. So we will have it at both campuses now and hopefully be serving a lot more students. Next. At Tech West, we have a lot of great things. I'm sure many of you have heard about our culinary and hospitality program. That is pretty amazing. We have cafe open on a lot of Thursdays. It's called Cafe 3040, and it's open to the public. So if you ever get a chance, come by and see us for that. We have a dual credits program with NCTC, and that's our firefighter program. Wood manufacturing, HVAC, a lot of great things. Next. We have several 2-year programs, which is our firefighter, our HVAC, and our veterinary science, which has our kids going in and able to be veterinary assistants. We have a lot of them doing practicums and going to work in clinics. We have our cosmetology that is available to certain high schools. We divide that with Tech East. So when you see your counselor, if that's something you're interested in, talk to them about it and they'll know which one to get you into. Something to note is that Tech East, it starts mid 10th grade year. So they'll go the second semester of their 10th grade year, their 11th grade year, and their 12th grade year. Whereas Tech West, we're serving, our kids that we serve only go their 11th and 12th grade year. It's just broke up a little bit differently. Next. Can I say something else, Kelly? I thought I had one more slide. Sorry, guys. I just want to let you know how, if your kids are interested in registering, they're going to do that with their campus during registration. They're going to put in a number for their elective, just like they will for English, math, things like that. And so where it's real important for them to go ahead and get that on their registration card or however their campus is doing it. And then the next thing is to fill out the interest form. They'll also get an email with that interest form after they sign up, but sometimes kiddos forget about that. And so we do have a wait list in a lot of our courses, and we just don't want anyone to miss out on an opportunity for not following all the steps. Another great thing is jump on our website and look at all the different programs for Tech East and Tech West. It offers a lot more information, and you can also see some videos and some pictures. Our course cards are posted on there. We've also been at almost all of the high schools now, visiting with students during lunches and then also with parents at night. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mackey. Yes, their Career Center has some amazing opportunities and programs, and they're with all kinds of certifications and really great opportunities. So it's fun to see them succeed over there. We also have some really good CTE programs here at Marcus, and one of those is our education and coaching program. Mrs. Hahn is our teacher for that, so she's going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Hi, yes, thank you. My name is Kendall Hahn, and I'm in charge of the education and coaching program here at Marcus. We are a career and technical class, but we are really lucky to be based on our campus because we get to partner with the Marcus feeder pattern schools. So the education and coaching pathway is going to be for students who are interested in becoming a teacher or a coach one day, so they can kind of explore that career path, explore all the different jobs within education, and maybe find out some really cool stuff in high school before they go off to college and start taking courses that cost a lot more money. So what we offer here at Marcus, we do have some beginner courses, number 1 and 2 on this list. Human growth and development is just a career and technical, it's a family consumer science elective credit that can be taken 9th grade through 12th grade, and that's just a 1 credit course. We then offered number 2, our Principles of Education and Coaching class. That is what I like to kind of call Education 101. So this is the course that I tell everyone if they are interested at all in teaching or coaching or working with children, this is a really cool elective. It is just a 1 credit, 18-week course. You can be in 9th grade through 12th grade to take this class. We get some really cool opportunities on looking at the different careers in education. We take some field trips to observe at different Marcus feeder pattern schools, at different elementary and middle schools. And if they end up really liking that, they can continue on to our higher level courses, which are number 3 and 4 on our list here. So Principles of Education and Coaching is a prereq to sign up for number 3, Instructional Practices. Instructional Practices is one of our courses that's an all year long course. They get 2 credits for taking this course. That is an all year long course because it does include a field-based internship. So what that looks like is they are going to be splitting time between our class at Marcus and also being partnered with a mentor teacher at an elementary or middle school classroom. So what that normally looks like for us is they will be at Marcus on Mondays and Fridays, and we'll do lessons and do all the check-ins then. And then on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the students get to go straight to their other schools, to their host schools, where they will be assigned a specific mentor teacher where they're in the classroom, basically doing a mini student teaching internship. So that's a very, very cool program. If they really love that class and they can fit another one into their schedule, we always want them to sign up for number 4, which is the Practicum of Education and Coaching. It's going to be an all year long course again. It's going to have that field-based internship where they get to go to a school and get to be in the classroom. They'll just have a little bit more time in the classroom since they're going to be the most advanced students. This is one of the career and technical pathways. So if you go down the education and coaching route, if you take 3 of these courses, you can actually be certified as an 18-year-old whenever you're a senior to be an educational aide, which is going to hit all those requirements for the college and career readiness. But it's really, really cool, like I said, though, that we get to have this at Marcus. It's specific for our students, our feeder pattern, and we really get to really inspire these students to maybe be a teacher or a coach one day. But my email is down there at the bottom. It's HanK, or you can scan the QR code or talk to your counselor if you have any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hahn. And I'll say that LISD does a great job at hiring former students. So if you have any interest in being a teacher or coach, sign up for these classes. It's a really good opportunity. Okay, another great program that we're very proud of at Marcus is our Air Force Junior ROTC. And Chief Salinas is here to discuss what all you can gain as a person from being involved in ROTC.
Okay, hello. Yes, I'm Chief Salinas. I'm one of the Air Force ROTC instructors here at Marcus. There are actually two of us, Major Andy Seuss and myself. The reason there are two of us is because 40% of our class is centered on leadership education, 40% on aerospace science, and then 20% on physical education. But anyway, that being said, wanted to say a couple of different things. In their course catalog, you'll find that ROTC is also known as aerospace science. In years past, we've had individuals say, hey, we can't find it in the course catalog. That's because it's also known as aerospace science in the course catalog. But anyway, the best way I know how to start about talking about junior ROTC is by telling you what it's not. It's not the military. It's not just for kids in the military. And it's not a blow-off class. Those are all good things to go ahead and remember. Another thing that I'd like to go ahead and do, quite frankly, is get rid of excuses and dispel some of those excuses. Some of the things I've heard over the years is that I can't take junior OTC because I'm in athletics or band or AVID or AP or honors courses. And to be honest with you, we have kids in all those different activities, and they take junior OTC simultaneously. Another thing I wanted to go ahead and dispel is I've heard students say, I really would take Air Force Junior OTC if I didn't have to go ahead and wear the uniform or get my hair cut. Well, I will tell you, in the first semester of Air Force Junior OTC, while students are finding out whether or not they like the course, you don't need to go ahead and wear the uniform, and you don't need to go ahead and comply with those hair standards. So dispelling those two excuses goes a long way. If someone doesn't want to take Air Force Junior OTC, that is fine. But I want them to do that with an informed or based on an informed decision. All those things being said, I will tell you that this year, from the fall to the spring semester, 74% of the cadets who took it a first semester took it a second or subsequent semester. Considering the junior OTC is an elective class, that's pretty remarkable. In years past, it's been well above 80% as well. So that speaks highly of the course, and we'd highly encourage you folks to consider taking it. I'll also tell you that junior OTC is a voluntary elective course, as I just mentioned. It does offer a PE credit. If an individual already has a PE credit, it offers elective credits. And it's also a fun class with a lot of opportunities. Some of those opportunities obviously are leadership skills. Some of the field trips that we have are unique to our ROTC that no other class here at Marcus has offered, at least not to my knowledge. Some of those things have been Chinook helicopter rides. Some of them have been orientation flights on board KC-135s, refueling fighter aircraft. We've been on C-130s. We've gone to the Air Force Academy. We've been to the Johnson Space Center. Quite a few unique things. We've also done college visits. We've gone to OU. The cadets are planning a trip to Texas A&M. All these things are unique opportunities that the cadets do, teaching that leadership skills. Some of the opportunities I also wanted to mention very, very quickly is scholarship opportunities. I will tell you, this year alone, we had 3 other individuals selected to earn their private pilot's license courtesy of junior OTC. That's a $25,000 scholarship. There are absolutely no strings attached to it. It's just to encourage individuals who are interested in obtaining their private pilot's license to have the opportunity to go ahead and do so. I don't know what this year holds, but I will tell you that by the end of this year, we'll have had 17 individuals earn their private pilot's license through this program. Speaking of opportunities, I don't know what this year holds in regards to full ride scholarships, but last year and the previous year, we had individuals earn scholarships, full ride scholarships, tuition, room and board, obviously 4 years of tuition. At the end of those 4 years, they'll be commissioned officers in either the United States Air Force or the United States Space Force. Believe it or not, that's a great opportunity. Last year's individual actually turned it down, and you might wonder why would that individual do that? He had a great reason. He was selected to attend the United States Naval Academy. So we're very proud of him, but those opportunities exist. Finally, I'll close out in case anyone's wondering what next year is going to hold. We're teaching survival next year. Traditionally, that is one of the things that individuals enjoy the most. We'll be doing everything from CERT training to CPR certification, stop the bleed, shelter building, with the understanding that not all survival takes place in austere circumstances. We'll even be training them to make sure that they know how to change a tire or to jumpstart a car, those kind of things, because survival takes many forms. Last thing I'll say, highly encourage you folks to consider it. Great sense of family, sense of belonging. It gives individuals an opportunity not just talk the talk, but actually walk the walk and prove themselves. We'll give them every opportunity to be honorable. We hope you all consider junior ROTC. We'd love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Salinas. Mr. Jones is our head band director, and he's going to talk a little bit about all the opportunities that you can get involved in with our fine arts.
Thanks, Ms. Young. Hello, everyone, and thanks for being here tonight. It's great to visit with all of you. I am here representing my fine arts colleagues, and as you can see on the screen there, you can see contact information for all the programs in the fine arts department. And just wanted to share a couple of thoughts and ideas about fine arts here at Marcus, what that looks like, why it exists, and some common misconceptions. First of all, why the arts exist on this campus, of course, to fulfill the education requirements for graduation, but it's so much more than that. We see our programs as an opportunity to set kids up for success in whatever's coming next for them. Arts programs allow our kids to learn collaboration and real-time problem solving, all while allowing them to release stress, to express themselves, and to create some magical art together. Also, I think it's really, really important we talk to our kids annually about the fact that the school they're coming to each day, as I'm sure you well know, is at least 3 times as large as the campus they're attending currently. And it's easy to get lost or feel anonymous in a campus that has over 3,000 people when you think students and staff here every single day. Our arts programs give them a home base and give them a place to belong with kids who have extremely similar interests as them in large form. Many of our arts programs are over several hundred students. And so there's an opportunity for them to be around a significant number of kids who have the same ideas with them. It's also really, really important for me to kind of dispel some misconceptions. We talk all the time with the kids about, what misconceptions are, things like, that bald isn't cool or that 46 is old. We come across all sorts of things all the time with regards to being in the arts, especially as kids are transitioning from middle to high school. One of the biggest is the idea that there's not enough time. And you've heard several of my colleagues dispel that myth, softly over the last 45 minutes or so, from the reality that it's great to live in a place that really invests in education, allows us to use the block schedule to our advantage. While your students here at LISD, even without using things like VLA to add a 5th class, etc., your students are going to get 32 credits here and only need 26 to graduate. And in the arts program, sometimes you can even double up. For example, if you're taking band here at Marcus, you're going to get a PE credit in addition to that fine arts credit, which opens up even one more block. We have students who are involved in all sorts of different things here on campus, which I'll come back to here in just a second. Another misconception I hear all the time is that's great, and my student has really enjoyed being a part of their arts program, but we're not going to be a professional musician, so this really isn't the right place for us. And I'll tell you, we're very fortunate to have some incredible musical experiences for our art students in all of their programs, whether it be the visual or the performing arts. But the reality is the majority of our students are not considering arts as a vocation. While we're thrilled to have a 100% graduation, less than 10% of our kids talk about the arts as a vocation after they graduate high school. Most of them are talking about engineering. Many of them are talking about the medical industry. Some of them want to be teachers, all sorts of different things that they're interested in doing next, but they use this as their home base. And again, to grow those skills about, working together, collaborative thinking, real-time problem solving, et cetera. The other thing that I hear too often from young students is the idea of tracking to just one specific thing on campus. Like you just heard Chief Salinas talk about, we have kids that are well-rounded and are sharing with all sorts of things. We're thrilled to have our ROTC cadets in the arts programs. We're thrilled to have kids that are doing all sorts of every other athletic, academic, artistic pursuit that you can think of. When you think of who are band kids, they're involved in all sorts of other different things here on campus and still find plenty of time to learn and grow a musical skill or an artistic skill in one of our fabulous fine arts programs. Just thinking as an example from last year, one of the other big misconceptions we often get is that's wonderful, but we're really going to focus on academics. And while I'm thrilled by the academic wing here at Marcus High School, it's certainly served my 3 children very well. I have a senior, a junior, and a freshman here at Marcus High School this year, and I'm so thankful for the investment that those teachers are making in your kids. As Dr. Kuhn said very early on, we have an incredible staff here that's going to really raise their level of academic excellence over the 4 years that they're here. The programs allow them to continue to learn the soft skills around the edges that will position them for excellence in the future. In the class of 2024, just using the band as an example, we have the valedictorian, the salutatorian, number 4, number 5, number 9, number 13, and number 19. All of which who moved on to artistic pursuits in their future life, but only one that selected music as their vocation moving forward. So we have well-rounded kids who are interested in all sorts of different things in all of our great programs. If you're interested in learning more information, I would certainly encourage you to reach out to the arts teacher on the slide that you're looking at who leads the program you're interested in. I know many of us will be at the M9 event tomorrow night. We'll be happy to chat with you there as well. And I just want to say thank you again for your time and attention. And thanks, Ms. Young, for putting on such a great event.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Jones. So as you can see, there's a wide variety of courses that allow our students to have choice and meet their personal goals and allow them to get involved in an opportunity just to help them kind of see what could I be interested in, or I've thought about this, but I'm just not sure. And I think it's important to try all of these things, or if you're just slightly interested, because it's also okay to be like, this isn't for me. This wasn't what I thought it was. So lots of good opportunities and ways for them to get involved. I want to talk a little bit about our registration, just kind of reminders and how all the information that has been shared with y'all in an email today and on our website, how you can access all that. So you're going to access all of the course registration materials. It's digital, it's all online. Your student is going to submit online as well, but on our Counseling 2025-2026 registration webpage. So again, that was emailed to students and parents today. 2 big things to kind of note whenever it's time for students to enter their request into their student Skyward account. One, this process will actually take place next week, February 3rd through the 6th. So Skyward is not open for kids to actually go in and enter their request until Monday, February 3rd. So right now we're just kind of in the planning phase as we get all the resources and kind of look at it all, talk as a family, look at it this weekend, but then actually go enter it into Skyward next week. And then again, this can only be done through the student Skyward account. A lot of times we get questions from parents that they can't access it through their family account. So students have to go in and then enter those requests on their side of Skyward. As far as how many credits and things they need to be selecting, they need to select 8 credits, so 4 core credits and 4 elective credits, and then they will have an opportunity to put in 7 alternates. And we do really use the alternates, so make sure your student really likes the alternates that they're putting in, because we do have to use those when we're working on schedules and stuff like that in July and August. So again, make sure they're picking their classes and their alternates very wisely. We have lots of resources to help them kind of navigate and make that choice. We have the digital Marcus course and program highlight presentation. So that's found on our webpage. They can click through that. There's videos, there's explanation, there's links that kind of take them to hear more about the program and what it has to offer. We also have the LISD course description guide, and that's another great resource where students can, read more about it. They can see, what type of GPA it is, and is there a prerequisite for this class? So that's another really good resource to use. Another thing is each grade level will have their own core course page. And so it's important that if you click on the 10th grade link that you look at the 10th grade course card, because there are certain classes that each grade level can take. So when they go to enter it in Skyward, those are the courses that they would be able to sign up for depending on their specific grade level. We do recommend that you consult with your current teachers, and and ask them too, because they're experts in the field and they kind of know what your student's ability is. And so they would be a resource to use if you're kind of on the fence. Do you think I could, maybe do this honors or this dual credit or this AP, and just kind of get their feedback as well. And so they'll be able to kind of help guide as well as your student's counselor. A couple things we do want you to know. We cannot honor any semester or teacher or class periods or specific like lunch requests. And we know kids maybe want to be with a friend or, find something like that, but it's very hard to navigate that. And so we cannot honor those. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through this process. And then when we come back and you get your schedules. And then if you are not planning to attend Marcus next year, we actually do still need you to complete all of the requests in Skyward. That's just part of the process that we have to have. And then just like to put this out there as we talk about credits and what's required for graduation. If your student ever fails a class, don't hide from that. We have a plan. We can make a plan. So make sure they come and talk to their counselor as soon as possible. And we can look at maybe doing summer school, credit recovery, all the different options that we're able to offer. So just like to put that out there. Okay, and then real quick, I wanted to show what the registration timeline looks like. So today we rolled out during Marauder time. And again, that email was sent out, all the information and links to the digital website. Like I mentioned on the last slide, registration is due in Skyward next week. It will be open from February 3rd through the 6th. And so we ask that students have all their requests entered into Skyward by 11 o'clock on February 6th, 11 o'clock p.m. As counselors, we will be meeting one-on-one with every student for a couple of weeks to go over their requests, look at their credits, and just see if they have any specific questions. So just please be patient. It takes us a couple of weeks to get to every kid, but we will be looking at what they chose and kind of having those discussions with them. At any time during the registration process, if you need help, if your student needs help, if you have questions, we ask that your student sign up to see us. They can scan our QR code, they can email us, we can send a pass for them, but we are here to help and answer any questions to help make this as smooth as possible for everyone. And then know that in April that we do what's called course verifications. And so we will send out an email saying, log into Skyward, double check your course request, make sure everything still looks good before we start wrapping up the school year and head out for summer break. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Klingen, and she's going to talk through the Marcus 9 information.
Okay, so here's where we are on our dates so far. Yesterday, we released the digital registration manual, and that was emailed home through the middle school. So they emailed those to you and supposedly to your students. So everybody should have them. Yesterday and today, we presented at the middle schools. So everybody received, every student that was present received a folder, and inside that folder has a QR code to take you to our registration page. It also has a planning sheet and we went through that planning sheet and how to choose classes. On the back of that sheet has a list of all of the electives that are available for our ninth graders. And that includes, we have a section in the corner for classes that are Career Center classes, Tech East and Tech West classes that are available for students in ninth grade. So they don't need to turn that form in. They just use that for planning for whenever they do enter their classes in Skyward, because the students, our rising ninth graders, will also enter their classes into Skyward in their account. Tomorrow evening, we'll have the freshman fair at Marcus 9 from 6 to 8:30. This is not a mandatory event. Please know that we will be recording the general session, and we're also working on getting some information together for our program programs that have tables that are available. On February 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we will have parent help sessions in the evenings at Marcus 9. We have these designated the first night for Downing and transfer families. And then we have a Briar Hill one, and then we have one for Lamar families. We do know that there are conflicts in the evening, so if the designated evening for your campus doesn't work, please feel free to come on another evening. Our Skyward window for entering course requests opens at 8 a.m. on Monday, February 3rd, and it will close at 11 p.m. on Thursday, February 6th. On the 10th, 11th, and 19th, we will be going to the middle schools to have individual student meetings with our students. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So course selection will be completed by our students in Student Access. Parents, you will be able to see the student selections in Family Access, but you won't be able to make any of the changes. So if you log in and it says, oh my gosh, I can't move any of these around, that's because the student needs to log in under Student Access. Our master schedule is finalized based on student choices during this course selection. So please make sure to work with your student to choose course levels and electives that they're interested in taking. Many times they're sitting with their friends, and so they sign up for classes that their friends are taking, and then somebody will get into one program and then another student's in another program, and then they don't even have the same classes, so they're sitting and wanting to know, why did I sign up to take this class? So it's real important to ask our students, are you interested in taking this class if your bestie isn't in there? Because that'll make the semester go much easier. We work very hard to try to schedule first choices of electives. So please understand that whenever the choices aren't available, we look at that list of alternates that they have down there, and we will choose from the alternates. So if there's no alternate that's listed, then we have to pick for them by what is available. So whenever your students are putting their electives in, those alternates are just as important. Sometimes classes will close, and then we have too many students who'll sign up for classes. So we have to go down into the alternates and pull from those alternates. So if there's nothing that's listed, it makes it really hard. It is likely that your student will have a course on the main campus. I have very few students this year that only have classes on Marcus 9. Our campuses are very fluid, so main campus students will come and take classes on M9. M9 students will take some classes on main. So your student will need to be flexible and know that it's okay to have a class that's on the main campus. They're going to do great. They get to meet all kinds of new people, and just be flexible with us. Everyone is new to campus. It's another thing that's important to remember. So it's likely your students will have courses with new friends. It is okay to be in a class with somebody that you don't know yet, because odds are that half the people in that class don't know anybody either. So it's a really good time to make new friends. Down here in the corner is the QR code that will take you to the Marcus 9 registration website. You can also reach it by going to the main, and you can reach the main by going to ours, but this QR code will take you straight there. That's it. Thanks, Ms. Young.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're now going to go through the questions that have been submitted. We've had a lot of really good questions submitted through the Google form. We're going to try to get to as many as we can and have time for. But remember, both this presentation, we got the slides, we got this whole recording, and the questions and answers, all three of those things will be posted on our Marcus Counseling webpage, hopefully by Friday. Okay, so let's go through some of the questions. The first one's going to be for the Career Center. So Ms. Mackey, a couple kind of specific questions. For the electrical program, it's asking, there's a electrical 1A and 1B, and they're asking, is it each a specific semester, or can a student take 1A and 1B during the same semester? They're trying to figure out how that planning could look.
Ms. Young, Ms. Mackey may not be on anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, so we actually have a few questions in regards to planning for the Career Center. And so that would actually be a really good reason and opportunity to have your student meet with their counselor and to do like a whole 3 or 4 year plan with them and kind of map that out, especially since some of the programs are specific to starting in 11th grade. And so you could talk through what are some classes I could be doing now and knocking those specific electives out or required electives out, and then getting the plan in place to try to set up for the Career Center
I could,
classes later.
if I could also, Ms. Young, I think some of the questions are also, if I'm going to put an example of the Tech Center course card in the chat right now, and this might help people to answer some of those general trends. So I put an example of the Tech West course card in, and when you see classes that are grouped, they'll see like little color bars, or you'll see number 1, 2, 3, or 4 next to them. That's showing you the order that classes have to be taken in. And those classes are a group. And all of those classes will make up 2 periods for 18 weeks or half of a school year. So if you see, for example, we had a question about the architecture program, or I'm sorry, in like the animal science, the first one on the page, you're going to see steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those classes, if your student was interested in that program, would take them in that order. And each of those steps, 1, 2, 3, and 4, would represent 18 weeks of high school. And each one of those, no matter if it's one class or 2, or you'll see even a group of 3, those make up a 2-period or half of a day for 18 weeks. And that applies to any program. Also, for some of the questions, we had a lot of questions about electrical. You'll see that those classes can't be started until the 11th grade, and you'll see grade levels listed next to each class as well. So when you look at those course cards, that's one way to help you with your planning. All of the cards are going to be listed on the website. So we'll also post, I'm going to post the Tech East card if you want to look at that, but we'll post a link to the registration website where all of the course cards are, and you can look at everything. Ms. Klingon, they had a couple of questions about Avid. Some of it was, can you describe how students might have to make choices about balancing athletics and Avid, or fine arts programs or tech centers in Avid? And
Yes.
then there was another question about, is there a typical profile of an Avid student? Specifically, is Avid for students that are typically struggling academically, or do students need to be really good students? Can you describe some of the qualities again of a good Avid student?
Sure. So first I'll start with the scheduling. Whenever a student whenever we're doing our 9th grade scheduling for Avid, we are going to have one-on-one meetings with our students. So whenever they fill out their Skyward requests, we will come with the list of the classes, and then we can take a look at everything that they selected and figure out which of the 8 classes are going to fit. So let's say a student wants to do athletics and band. So they want to do baseball and band and Avid. So in order to do that, we're looking at 4 electives, and it's really hard to do without having the my little chart here so I could show you what it looks like on there. We do have some flexibility, especially freshman year, because we want to make sure that students will participate in as many activities as they possibly can. So sometimes we have some flexibility with social studies in freshman year, because for social studies graduation requirements, students either need to have 3 social studies or 4 social studies credits. So we have a little bit of flexibility freshman year for that social studies to go to sophomore year, and then we can fit Avid in there in addition to their 2 programs. So we have a little bit of scheduling flexibility in 9th grade where we may not have that flexibility later on in high school. So for that, what I would do is either come to the parent help sessions and we can work that out with you and show you what that would look like, or we can work that out directly with your student, which we would love to do also whenever we have our one-on-ones. There is flexibility freshman year where sometimes there isn't later, and freshman year is a great time to be able to experience multiple programs, including Avid and multiple programs. Now, for your traditional Avid student and the identity of an Avid student, Ideally, we're looking in Avid for students who would benefit from some exposure to college readiness. If a student has been told since they were in kindergarten about going to college and prepped and pushed and know about it, and they're going into ninth grade and they already know what college they're going to go to and already have all of these things in mind, then Avid may not necessarily be the class for that student. An ideal student for Avid is one that has the potential to do well in honors classes, but could use a little bit of support to get there. If you know, for the community, everybody can benefit from the community that's available, but for the academics that we're talking about, you're getting more academic support in that class to learn how to be successful, learn study skills. Yeah, I'm not sure if that answers the question, but it's not necessarily for our student who already knows they're going to college and has already known it. It's somebody who's wanting some support to learn how to get there and learn how to grow and flourish.
Thank you, Ms. Klingon. Chief Salinas, we did have one question about ROTC, and that was how many semesters is ROTC? Would you like to speak to that?
Certainly. Air Force Junior ROTC, like I said, it is an 18-week elective course. It can be taken for as few as one 18-week semester, or it can be taken every semester throughout high school. Like I said earlier, anywhere between 74 and 84% of the cadets who have taken ROTC one semester have taken it a second or subsequent semester, with many of our seniors having taken it every semester throughout high school.
Thank you. Ms. Brennan-Stoll, we had a question about honors and AP, and that was, do you have to take honors classes in ninth grade to be able to do AP classes like later on? What would you recommend for that?
Thank you for that question. It's actually a great question. Marcus High School adheres to the College Board philosophy, which is open enrollment. So you do not have to take honors classes in order to take AP classes. As a matter of fact, this year, I have a number of students who have never, they're juniors, but they've never taken any AP classes and they've never taken any honors classes, and they're doing beautifully. So no, it's absolutely an open enrollment policy. You do not have to get your prior year's teacher's approval. You don't have to meet any sort of grade criteria. It's absolutely open enrollment.
And to further up on that, Ms. Brennan-Stoll, what about people who are curious that maybe they've taken all honors classes, for example, or GT classes in middle school or freshman year? Do you see or recommend students that take on-level courses in certain subjects, AP and honors in others?
Yes, we do see that. But you know, that would just be an option for kids. Some of my students take some dual credit classes. They take AP classes. By the time they're juniors, they might take an on-level class, but as Mr. Jones said, our kids are involved in a lot of things. And so in AP classes at Marcus High School, we're going to run the gamut of, I have athletes in my classes, I have band students in my classes, I have cheerleaders, I have Marquettes, I have students who are taking dual credit for their math. We're just running the gamut in the AP classes.
Okay, so to add on to a little bit of that, we had some questions about multipliers and the levels. So you saw that there's a level 1, level 2, and level 3. So the multipliers for each of those is a level 1 class is weighted at a 1.1, and then an honors class would be weighted at a 1.15, and then an AP and dual credit is at the level 3, which is a 1.2. So those are how they are calculated into the GPA.
And Mr. Poe, we had a question for VLA. It was asking, can incoming ninth graders take VLA summer courses before their first fall semester at Marcus?
It used to be the case that that yes, but now there's been a reinterpretation of the legal framework as to when they can, and they would still be considered an eighth grader until their August first day of ninth grade.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, we had a question. For incoming freshmen, is it possible to do a sport and band or color guard?
Great question. Yes, we have kids every year that are participating in almost every sport happening here on campus. This current school year, we had 3 or 4 students play freshman football. We had several students that were in the baseball class through the fall, and I think one that's continuing through the spring semester after the tryouts for the team. We have kids that play basketball that are in the Marcus Band, orchestra, ROTC, Avid, all the things.
Perfect.
Okay, one dual credit, this is Miss Johnson. One dual credit question we had is if the dual credit courses get recognized at Texas colleges. So this is a great question. Pretty much anywhere a student goes, their dual credit classes will transfer. To go into that just a tad bit further, if they're going to a Texas public school, it's mandatory. It's required that those Texas public schools take the credit. But even Texas private schools are going to take them, out-of-state schools and out-of-state private schools are going to take them. The only thing that might be a little hoop to jump through is they might be called something different or they might have a different course number. So it might be something you have to show like what you took at certain colleges. But I've had a lot of colleges that they did not take dual credit courses, and just in the last few years they are now taking those dual credit courses. So it's very rare that any school will not take those courses. So a lot of times I say if you have colleges that you're interested in, maybe go ahead and reach out and see how that's going to look with that college to get that 100% answer from them. But like I said, it's very rare if they don't take dual credit courses.
Thank you. Okay, one question was, is athletics or PE credit mandatory? The answer is yes. The state of Texas does require that students have at least one PE credit by the time they graduate, but we do have a wide variety of options of how they could do that. They could get that credit just through a traditional PE class that we offer at Marcus, the ROTC program. They could do, 2 seasons of marching band. There's, if they do like dance 1 and dance 2, we also have VLA PE. So lots of good opportunities. There could be even opportunities through external PE. And if that's something your student is interested in, there's actually an application for that goes through the district, and it has to be approved at the district level. And then they tell us if they're able to do external PE and earn credit for that.
One other question we had was kind of about the planning piece that we talked about with CCMR. Like we mentioned before, these are goals that we want to help support our students and to give them all the resources that they can get now while they're in high school. As going into freshman year, even going into sophomore year and junior year, our students might not know what they want to do. They might not have that plan yet. We do want them to discover what they like and what they don't like. That is a place for high school, because you can figure out now before you go to college and pay for college what is good for you and what isn't good for you. So we for sure want them to explore, but we also want them to take advantage of the resources we have of trying the different courses, possibly getting a certification in something that they like doing, or they try a class and it's not for them and they might not get the certification in that one, but then they find another different path. So we do want our students to have a plan by the time they graduate so they know what's coming next. But they are taking that time during high school to choose the classes that are best for them, to find out what they want and what that plan can be for them later on. So we definitely want them to be exploring those options, but also to have those goals in mind, so they're ready for what comes after high school.
I think along those lines, Ms. Johnson, there's a lot of questions from people. It sounds like their students are involved in many different things. So they might be in athletics or ROTC or a performing arts group, and they want to also explore the tech center. So those things also do require some mapping out to see, can you do everything, or do you need to make some choices eventually? So at some point, students, for example, that are involved in athletics and band and want to do a tech center program may not have enough room to do everything. Similarly, there are certain programs at the tech centers like, for example, the cosmetology program or the electrical program, that are going to take half of a student's schedule for the entirety of their junior and senior year, which means that there's not much room to do anything else except for the other required classes like English, math, science, and social studies, unless they try and do some things in the summer to make room. So there's some questions about, could my child start this program in the 11th grade and do and complete it by the time they graduate? It's possible, but it also depends on what else they're interested in doing, and what else do they want to complete by the time that they graduate. There are some instances, though, where students can't do everything and they do need to make some choices as they move through high school.
A couple of questions about credits that we received. One of them is specific to science courses. So one thing that we get a lot of questions about, if they are required to take chemistry or physics to graduate, the answer to that has multiple answers. Some of it can depend on the endorsement that they're on, which your student and you would be working with your counselor on that. Most of our students are on where they are on the plan to get 4 in every core area. So if that's the plan that they're on, then they have to take chemistry or physics. They don't necessarily have to take both. So if they take chemistry as a sophomore, then they get to choose after chemistry what science they want. If it is physics because that's what they're interested in, then that's great. But it doesn't always have to, you don't always have to have chemistry and physics. You for sure want to have one of those. And then from there, you get to choose what other sciences you want after that. Another question that we had was about credits taken in middle school. So one example is about fine art. So if you're in band or choir or theater in middle school, those are actually counting towards your fine art credit that you need in middle school, but those will not transfer over to high school. The only one is when it comes to fine art would be Art 1. That's only if they took 2 levels of that in middle school, and then they would receive that middle school credit. But if they just took Art 1 as a middle school class, then that is only a middle school credit. And then they would sign up for another fine art once they get here.
Perfect. All right. I see a question about when choosing alternates. Should those alternates be for elective classes, or do they also need alternates for their core classes? We really just need them to be for their elective classes. We will definitely get kids into the core classes as long as there's room and they've requested it from the get-go. So the elective classes are where we do need those alternates.
There was also a good one too, similar to that, about things like the things that require tryouts. So generally, if for example, your child wants to play basketball and they're a rising student, that they're entering into Marcus, I think we have 2 different answers for that. One, I want to turn that to Mrs. Klingon, for example, for our new M9 students, and a student is aspiring to be on a team that has a cut program or cut sport. How should they do that? Should they request the sport if they want to be in it? And then if they don't make the team, how does that work with follow-up?
Okay, so right now this is just a wish list. So you'll sign up for the sport that comes first in the season. So if your student is wanting to participate in basketball in just one sport, then your student will sign up for fall and spring on that sport. In the fall, whenever there are the initial tryouts during the first week, most programs that don't have like the programs that have the first fall, like the volleyball has their tryouts before school starts. Football does not have cuts, so you just have to make sure to come to the summer activities. But like basketball specifically, and soccer, they will have a little mini tryout during the first week. If your student does not make the program, then if there is a second sport, then we will change your student into the second sport, which is either going to be potentially track, or if they have another one that they've been working with the coach for, then we'll change to that sport. Otherwise, we'll go into PE. The student will be in PE for 18 weeks, and then in the spring, we'll choose another elective. But I am going to encourage every family who has a student who's wanting to play freshman sports to reach out to the coach now and let the coaches know that your student is interested in being in a sport so that you can participate in summer workouts and other things so that your student is on the radar.
I would just put one other note in about alternates, and then I think we're going to wrap up. It is for many of the programs at the tech centers, if a student puts a tech center program as an alternate choice, it is very unlikely that they will get into it immediately. They would end up on a waiting list. If your child is interested in any degree to a tech center program, it's in their best interest to include that in their top choices. Most of the students that we have that have, frustrating schedule process is because they did not put alternates. So if you are requesting a sport, put an alternate for that. If you're requesting a tech center program, put alternates for that in case you don't get a spot or you're on a waiting list. That's where we encounter the most problem because students don't list choices and then counselors are left, quite frankly, in a spot where we need to pick things for them and we might have to just pick what's open. So we want to make sure your student has their voice heard in their requests, and the best way to do that is by putting as many alternate choices as they can.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank y'all so much for all of your questions and for joining us tonight. Again, all of the resources are on our counseling webpage. So when you're ready to start looking at the course card, the electives, the Career Center course cards, the VLA course card, all of that is housed on our Marcus Counseling webpage. And so you can start sifting through all the resources and information and coming up with plans and stuff for your kiddos. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you to my counselors for being here tonight and helping us out. We also had a behind the scenes tech person, Ms. Cooper, so I appreciate her help. And we appreciate y'all being here. So thank you so much. Have a good evening.